This is the Comedy Kiosk, podcast by Monday and Munoz. Please welcome Monday and Munoz.
Hello and welcome to the Comedy Kiosk, a podcast in which we discuss news, opinions and ideas about comedy. My name is Igor Monday, and with me, as always,
is David Munoz.
Okay, David is just trying out his circus voice there. David,
I was thinking boxing ring, but anyway.
Okay, boxing
ring
like, okay, like live performance from the 60s kind of voice. And today we will discuss a topic that David actually stumbled upon reading an article on The Guardian, I believe. So David, maybe you can share a bit more on the topic and what kind of idea was it? What are we discussing today?
Well, basically, it's about merchandising in comedy. So it's an article, like you said, it was in The Guardian. It was written by Rachel Healy. If anyone wants to look it up, it's the 1st of September 2024. It was published. But it was an interesting point.
And we can, of course, link it in the description.
Yeah, but it was an interesting point because, you know, merchandising has generally, as the article mentions, it has been like the thing for like bands, musicians, you know. You go to a concert, you love the show, you love the band, whatever, or just to say that you were at that particular tour, you know. You buy the shirt with the tour and the dates and the locations and blah, blah, and the thing of the band at the front, and then you wear it from then on, and, you know, maybe one day your kids or grandkids will have a Led Zeppelin or Nirvana shirt or whatever that they can wear, you know, because you went to see that band live. But the article was talking about how comedians are starting to do this sort of thing, to merchandise at their shows. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Like, that's an interesting point. And also that the idea, it was interesting because the article, when you read the article, because I sent it to you, what did you think? What was your takeaway? What was the article about?
I mean, it wasn't really news to me because I know that people are doing this, and I saw it like on Fringe last year, for example, and some comedians that I've produced their show here in my club or whatever, also kind of brought merch. And actually, like one of them, for example, the Icelandic comedian Daxon, but he's more like stand-up is like secondary to him. Primarily, he's a cartoonist and an artist, so he publishes these little like web comics, especially like 10-15 years ago. Those were really kind of famous and constantly shared before the memes and reels and all of that. So, and then he has a lot of like compilation books with those comics and also like other merch, like socks and whatever that features the little like characters from those comics. So he brought in that merch. He had 3 shows in a row that I produced for him, like 3 sold out shows in a row. After the first show, we were already mostly out of the merch because again, like the people that come and watch his show, they're mostly like loyal fans. And they mostly know him through the other stuff, like through the like comics and everything. So they want like a souvenir, like a memorabilia. Like I've been to his show and now I have something physical, you know?
Right.
So it's about that kind of thing. And then on Fringe, I also saw people selling like hats and T-shirts and whatever, like with their face or name of the show, or mostly with some like funny or catchy phrase. You know, and for example, Randy Feldface, you know him, the puppet, Australian puppet comedian. Like for example,
Oh yeah, he used to live down the road from me. You know, great guy.
Yeah. I mean, you know of him, obviously. So not know him personally. You and Randy chill behind my back.
Oh no, we went to school together. No, I totally know him personally. Yeah. I mean,
I think he's supposed to be your age approximately, like the character of the puppet, not the person behind the puppet.
But he looks great, not a wrinkle on him. I mean, honestly, I don't know what skincare products he's using, but it is brilliant.
Oh, it's just that purple skin, man. It doesn't get affected by UV light.
Some people are just born lucky, you know?
Yeah,
Some
I
people
know.
are just born lucky.
On the
I
other
envy
hand-
his kids.
On the other hand, always has a hand up his ass, so I'm not sure how lucky.
So always getting lucky is what we're saying.
Yeah,
always
okay,
getting lucky.
Super lucky, yeah, double lucky. Yeah. So he also did merch, like he was selling merch. But again, he's more of like a, you know, like a character. I mean, obviously, like all he does is comedy, but you know, he has this like huge kind of fan base and following. And I think people that come to his show are not just like people that wandered in like from the street, but people that know and want to see Randy Feldface. That
Yeah.
means that they also want to leave that show with like a hat or T-shirt or something. So
or a Muppet
it's-
baby with great skin.
That or a little, yeah, that would be like that would be cute if you could just buy like little hand puppets of Randy. But that's also weird. It's just like him selling his sperm. I don't know.
Adopt one of my children. I'm a Randy fucker and I've got so many kids I can't take care of them. I don't make enough money. Adopt one of my children.
He's
Please.
a Randy fucker. He's literally Randy. But yeah, so I mean that's again not no news like the article. It's more about like why are comedians only now thinking of that? Only in the past few years maybe, because I guess like all the bands and musicians and stuff have been doing it. Okay, they have a bit more like physical evidence of their artistry, like cassettes or CDs or records or whatever. Then again, like up until like 2010 or something, 2015, and Netflix, comedians did too. They had like DVDs to sell, I guess, but no one was really doing the merch, like the actual.
That's the difference. It's the shirts, it's the wristbands, it's the hats, it's the whatever.
But I think the idea behind it is like partially like covering the expenses, and it is also the branding, the exposure thing.
That's the main point that I was mainly interested in, because like you said before, it's the money is there. Like it's about making extra money. And they mentioned, I think in the article, I believe some of the comedians were talking about, well, after COVID, less people coming to shows, it was a way to kind of make the difference up. So it was like, hey, I'll sell some merchandising, because then you get more money. Like the person pays, let's say they're 5 or 10. Let's say it's a proper show. They pay the 20 euros or whatever to come see your special, like 20, 25 euros. Then they drop another 10 to 20 euros on the merch. You just made 40 euros out of one person. So before, out of 50 people, and I'm really bad at maths, but you're probably making like $1,000, right? So at 50 people with the original tickets, you're maybe like 1,000, 1,500 or something like that. Now you can practically double that, because now that the numbers are back, but you're making this much money off doubling from each person, you're now making close to 3,000 euros on that show. So all of a sudden, it makes financial sense that why wouldn't you sell that merchandising? And, if you look at the cost of it, like, it's, how much you have to spend and then how much you get back. Okay, maybe you spent $1,000 on merchandising itself, but out of the $3,000, you still got $2,000. You still made an extra 1,000, 1,500 on top. Like, well done. And you're making more money. If you're doing that at every single show, then, it kind of makes financial sense. So I was like, oh yeah, so, that was a cool way. But I was more interesting as someone, as we mentioned in many of the episodes now, like, someone who's trying to start a scene, and you yourself, you've been doing it for over a year now, a bit over a year, right? It's about, I thought for me, it's more about the promotion, right? And it's about like getting your name out there and trying to get people to know that you exist in a way. And I started thinking of it as like a walking billboard. I was like, the shirts, if you could, even if you gave it away or whatever, like, people are walking around, because my problem has been, how do I get people in the local area to know that this show is on the first and third Sunday of every bloody month? Like, how do I get people to come to my Instagram page to have a look at it and go, oh, the first and third, month, a Sunday of every month. Holy shit, that's brilliant. I'll go to one of those one day, Oh, there's a link to get a free to reserve the ticket. Fantastic. So how do I get people to go there? Because right now I'm spending money on advertising on Instagram, but a shirt is a walking bill. Because I've been thinking about putting up posters, right? But posters can be lost, because if you have a wall with a sea of posters, unless something pops out, which, sometimes they might see the word in English, and they'll, the foreigners or the people who speak English will be like, what's that in English? It can work. But if someone's walking around with a shirt, that's another way of doing it. That's a billboard, or that's a poster that walks around for you,
Yeah, but I think like the comedians that do sell merch, I think that for them it's maybe not promotion, because they have already like a fan base that's going to buy that merch. That's why I think it's just another like stream of revenue, right? Just another like source of income, because same as with the bands and everything. Like if I go to like a Linkin Park concert, yeah, I might buy like a T-shirt or something. If I go to I don't know, whoever, like Eminem concert, I might buy a t-shirt. I won't. Personally, I will never buy a t-shirt. But like I know people that would, but people that are like really, you know, the fan base of Eminem, the fan base of Linkin Park.
Why wouldn't you buy a shirt?
Because I don't need that shirt. Like, why will I ever wear an Eminem shirt? Especially this day and age. Like, you know, those kind of like printed shirts with like bands. What is this, 2001? Come on. But like people still do that. And people still wear those.
Yeah, because it's not a 2001 thing. It's been happening
It
since
is.
the 1960s and 70s.
Yeah, and
people walk
also-
around with The Who, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, but within the fan base, like people who are kind of
Yeah.
rock heads, metal heads, they would wear those shirts, you know, because.
Ooh,
but
I
they are,
don't know about that because Nirvana. I see a lot of people wearing Nirvana shirts, and I don't know. Some people just don't look like they'd be necessarily a Nirvana fan. I think
But
it's
that's
also
one
a
of
fashion
those
statement.
like that's like kind of like wearing a Che Guevara shirt. You don't even know who the guy was, but it's just you know,
Yeah.
it's one of those like pop culture things. But
I'm
yeah.
alternative.
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, yeah, so maybe I wouldn't, but I know like, okay, I know that a lot of people would buy merch at those like Linkin Park, Eminem, something concerts. But you wouldn't buy merch at your local like 5 bands in a night showcase kind of thing because you don't know who any of these like bands are. A leaf on a tree or like a raindrop or like a whatever, you know, like random bands that come up.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like comedians that do sell merch, they already have a fan base that's going to buy it. So it's not like really promotion because
Yeah, it's just money. It's about getting money.
As promotion purposes, so when we were running a club, Steal the Show,
Yeah.
we actually had this idea of, you know, like you said, like, you know, if we get enough merch out there, someone's gonna, like, you know, someone's just sitting in a bus or a metro or somewhere with a shirt that says like Steal the Show Comedy Club. And someone else is going to see it and be like, oh, what is that comedy club? And they're going to Google it. They're going to follow us or come to the
Exactly.
show.
Yeah,
So-
that's the idea behind that.
Yeah, but first of all, we wanted to then just make merch, like kind of hoodies and T-shirts and I don't know what was in the mix, like tote bags and whatever. And we asked like, I don't know, 20 people that we know, like, would you actually buy that? And they were like, nah. You know, like, why would I buy that? It's just, you know, because whatever price we put, it would be like too much for a comedy club that's not, you know, like the Comedy Cellar or some like super famous
Yeah.
comedy club. That because if I went to New York to Comedy Cellar, maybe I'd buy a shirt like kind of, hey, I was here. It's a cult kind of place, but our club wasn't a cult kind of place. So like a few of our like really, really dedicated fans, people that were coming to like every show or every second week or something, they were like, yeah, that would be cool. I would love to wear that. And comedians. Everyone else, not interested. So it would be like, but you can't print like 3 shirts. If you're going to do merch and put it on the website or somewhere, you have to print like 100 at least to have some stock, you know, and different sizes and maybe like male, female, all of that. And that's an expense that, you know.
Yeah, so you guys ended up doing... So is that why you did the wristbands? Because I remember you guys did the wristbands with Steal the Show written on it, right? So
did.
is that why you ended up with the wristbands? Because it was cheaper, it was easier to give away sort of stuff? Or like you didn't have to ask people to pay for it because you're like, fuck it, we'll just give it off? Or, so what was the idea behind that? Because that was a bit of merch that
Yeah, it
even
was.
if you didn't sell it, because I remember you guys gave it away pretty much.
Yeah,
So what was the
we-
point behind that? What was the idea?
We actually made like different things. We made T-shirts for ourselves just to wear when we're like hosting or like show running, just so that we look like we belong to the club, but also so people can see that and instantly like recognize the visuals, like the logo. And then for like different giveaway shows, like for the birthday show, like 1 year of the club, for the like Christmas show, and so on, like for different kind of topical shows, we made this merch, which was wristbands, which was the little badges, like the kind of pin badges that you can put on your, and a lot of people, I know to this day, like one person at least that wears the Steal the Show badge on their backpack among like other badges and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, it kind of, that kind of works, but I don't think anyone's going to look at someone's backpack in a bus and be like, oh, I'll Google this, you know, just kind of for them.
Because the
to-
badge doesn't really give enough information. It doesn't say comedy club on it, you know, in
Yeah, it's
English
just-
or whatever.
Just a logo.
It's just steal the
So-
show, and it's like, oh, that sounds cool. Steal the show. Yeah, man, I should steal the show. The show being life. It's like, no. It's an actual comedy club. You should come to it.
Yeah, so it would need like a lot of like information and disclaimer on that
Exactly.
badge to be, But then we also did, I think we did a hoodie and a couple of T-shirts that we gave away also on those like kind of themed shows where there was some kind of raffle or some kind of winner or something like connected to, you know, as a part of like crowd work or something. I know we had a hoodie at one point. I remember it, and it was pretty cool. I think we only had like one hoodie for like the big winner of the night, the audience member, that's something. But yeah, so we did make that, but we always gave it away, and it was always in like small numbers, kind of one hoodie, 3 t-shirts, 50 badges kind of thing, because that was a manageable cost, and that was also, you know, enough to just have something to kind of give out. But we never made what we wanted to do, like a section of the website which would be like a web shop with merch, and in the club itself we had that shelf, if you remember, right next to the stage. That was originally supposed to be for merch.
Oh,
Shelf was supposed to be where we have like cups and I don't know, t-shirts and whatever that we're selling. But then we realized, you know, and also like who's gonna sell it? Like we're always busy with like running the show and stuff, and now someone goes like, I need 2 cups and I have this much and I need change, and you know, it's just like a logistical nightmare.
Headache.
So yeah, we never actually went for it. But I did at some point, because I think what you're saying, like the exposure thing, I did see the value in that at some point. So I made, that was like very early on, maybe like 3 years into my like stand-up career, let's call it, when I started like traveling around, because everyone already knew me on the regular shows. But when I started like traveling around Europe, like it was, I think, during or after our second tour of Europe, I was like, hey, every night I go up in front of, I don't know, like 50, 70, 100 people. You know, and it was on the first 2 tours, 5 of us. On the third one, 2 of us. On the fourth one, 3 of us. So, you know, like maybe in this lineup of comedians, someone likes me. You know, just me. Not, okay, the show in general, I think most people liked and so on. But, you know, okay, that guy's sense of humor I like, you know.
All right.
How would they ever, like, find me, or, you know, because to do that, they would then have to find this event or something somewhere on Facebook, find like the people, you know, it's like no one's gonna bother after the show. So I actually printed myself a t-shirt which had my face on it and my Instagram handle. So it was kind of like during my performance or right after or during the break or something, if you saw me and you liked me, well, follow me there and then. And I think a few times now, like I kind of finished the set with, thank you, I've been Igor Monday. If you want to see more of my stuff, follow me here. And I would just point at my shirt, which is much easier than like spelling out your, you know, handle or something. So that was an attempt, and I did wear it for like a year or 2. And then it became, I don't know, I think I outgrew it or something. It felt so weird to wear like my own face with like an Instagram handle on my shirt.
That's always weird, Igor. That's all. It doesn't matter. There's no face. It's just weird.
Yeah, I know.
Wear your own face.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, that face, it wasn't like, you know, a photograph. It was kind of like a logo kind of thing. So very like simplified drawing of my face. Like a friend that's an actual like digital artist made it for me, like a little kind of drawing, like a logo kind of my face. But yeah, so that was the idea. The idea was the exposure and, you know, getting like more followers or whatever. But yeah, I don't think it ever worked for me, and it never worked for the club. the thing. Well, I don't know. Maybe those little badges worked too. I think when you give something to people, it's at least like, you know, I
think it endears them to you.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, oh, thanks, they gave me something.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a psychological thing where, okay, they gave me a badge, now I have to go to the shows.
Nah.
Like, but it's still more like kind of, oh, they gave me a badge. They're nice guys. Maybe I'll go to more shows.
Yeah, exactly. I think, it endears people to you. But the thing is, what was interesting is one point, like I was reading the article, and there was a comedian who they interviewed called Kiri Pritchard McLean, and she was talking about, like, she sells earrings, these funky earrings. It doesn't mention her name on it. It's not promotional. It was just earrings. And at first I thought, well, what the hell's the point of that? And I thought, well, obviously it's just for the money. Like, she's just trying to make... But I'm like, that's like an Etsy store. Like, I don't get it. Like, that's not promo. That's not merchandise. That's just you've got like arts and crafts selling thing in the corner. Like, that's not the thing. But she made a really good point that also made me go, oh my God, she's a genius. And she was saying, she's like, they're interesting earrings. They're definitely like talking pieces. So someone buys the earrings and she goes, and I think she's mentioned like they're good sellers. But someone else can see that. And you know how people, and especially, you know, not to generalize, but, you know, women might look at another woman's earrings and go, oh, I love those earrings. Where did you get them? And then she's like, oh, I got them at a comedy show. Whose comedy show? You know, Kiri Pritchard McLean's show. Oh, who's she? Is she good? Oh, yeah, she's lovely. Blah, blah. But I thought, that is such a good way to have your name or your show or your club or whatever organically come up in a conversation. It's not like it's being rammed down anyone. Someone's promoting you without even them realizing they're doing that. Like, they're just telling them where they got the earrings, and you mentioned that, and I thought, oh, that is subtle, nice, and it's so non-invasive. And I thought that is so good, the way to pop into someone's conversation as a talking point.
Are you
So
saying
was
that wearing your face on a t-shirt is not subtle, or that
no,
it
it
is
is,
invasive?
it is a little invasive. I think with your face, that could be almost considered sexual assault, but you know.
Crime against humanity.
Yeah, crime against humanity. But the point is, I thought that was really smart, and I thought, oh, this Kiri girl, she's definitely like, this woman knows, like, you know, she's figured out a nice way of doing it. So I was thinking about the same thing, because, you know, this is, as I was saying before, this is what interested me the most of having it there. So you know, that hoodie idea, that's cool, but like, hoodies are expensive, I'm sure, to make. But the thing is, I remember, for example, when I was doing salsa lessons back in Townsville, you know, in my younger days, in my late 20s, early 30s, I was doing, you know, salsa classes. And Bernie, who was the woman who was like running it was her club sort of thing, like her salsa group, she made these beautiful black t-shirts with bamboo fiber. God, that was so smooth to the touch and so nice to wear. Good quality. Beautiful print on it. You know, it was sort of like that, you know, the style, if I recall, like flowers and stuff, but black on white, you know, the white text and stuff. And it was kind of like a Day of the Dead sort of Mexican sort of thing. But, you know, so it was very salsa-y, but very kind of, that was great. Anyway, so these shirts, you know, we would wear, and I would love wearing them because it felt so comfortable to wear. The material was so smooth that I actually wore it quite a bit. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was a walking billboard. But she was smart as well, in the sense that she got this really nice material that it felt a pleasure to wear this t-shirt, and people liked wearing it. Like, especially a lot of the girls, they liked really wearing it, and they, you know, tighten a little knot or crop top it or whatever. And it was a way to kind of bring that attention to the club. And I thought, that's what you want. You want people to see. And like, I think she gave it away to some of us, and then she sold the rest off at, like, you know, parties and things like that. People could buy it, and people would, you know, they would occasionally be like, oh, I want one of those shirts, because they would see us wearing it, they'd feel it, and they'd be like, oh, this stuff is not, what is that? Oh, it's made from bamboo, actually. You know, it's a special, it's very smooth material. It's like, right. And that shirt, that t-shirt lasted me ages. I think the only reason why it ended up going badly was because I was doing cleaning and some chemicals got on it and it ruined the black. Like, it ended up splotching. I was like, crap. And then it became my sleeping thing because, you know, it was so good to wear to sleep because it was so fresh and refreshing in a hot climate. So I was thinking the same thing, like maybe doing like simple t-shirts and then making it of a really nice fiber. But then that's, like you said, it's about the cost. It's almost like you already got to be an established club to like warrant paying, because you need to make a bulk items. You can't just make 4 or 5 and then just get, because that's, you know, the more you spend, the more savings you make. It's that sort of thing where you're deciding what the hell to do.
I think
and then who wears it?
With this, both of these examples, like what Kiri is doing and what your ex-colleague is doing, I think it's like, if you already are doing something on the side, or like your partner maybe is, or, you know, someone, then you can use the same like sales channel to push a different product. And then also, as you mentioned, like it might actually trigger this kind of organically trigger a conversation, you know, like, oh, where did you get that shirt? Oh, at the salsa club. Oh, you dance salsa? Oh, great, I'll come and check it out. You know, something like that, or with the earrings and the comedy show. But I think you already, like, I don't even think that's merch. I think that's a different product sold through the same channel. You know, it's like Coca-Cola selling their drinks through McDonald's. You know, like it's just it's not like a McDonald's menu. It's just a drink by a different company that's sold as a part of that. Like So as an ex-marketing professor, I can tell you more about this kind of strategic alliances. But that's, I don't think that's necessarily like merchandise, because I think merchandising is just like, you know, a separate like revenue stream that it's either made for like making money, or it's made for like building up this like fan base and recognition and exposure and so on. But I think it's just like an offshoot of whatever the main thing is. So be that like maybe some like IT company, maybe some, you know, like a musician, maybe a comedian, maybe like whatever it is. So because I know that all of those, like if I go to some like IT conference or like a startup conference or whatever, everyone's giving away merch. You can get like I know people who go to these events and come home with like a bag full of, you know, like water bottles, socks, t-shirts. What else they give out? Like phone cases. In some cases, even like a bit more expensive things like USB like sticks, but that's not even that expensive nowadays. But I don't know, like power banks, things like this. So especially if there's like a kind of take part and win it kind of situation, then you can get something really nice that's also branded with that brand's like, or of course like pens and this kind of standard merchandise. So, and I think we had still to show pens now that I think of it. I think we made like some pens as well. But yeah, anyways, so, you know, I think like if you, but again, either you give it out for free and it's like those little trinkets, or you charge for it, but I think you can only sell it when you already have someone to sell it to. So I think like to sell merch, you have to have a fan base.
Yeah. But I'm thinking also maybe like for me at this point, for the club, you know, it would be to then, I was thinking like maybe selling it at cost sort of thing. So, because the point is, I'm not interested in making a profit at this point. I'm more interested in getting the name recognition out there. But at the same time, you know, trying to mitigate as much cost or maybe even half price. So, you know, the idea is like, okay, maybe I spent, let's say, I spend what would be considered like 15, let's say 20 euros per shirt is what I end up, or it ended up costing me 30 euros, okay, per shirt to make. And then I just sell it for 15. So the idea is just to try to mitigate the cost. Like I'm losing money, but I'm not losing as much, if you know what I mean. That's one way. Or you just sell it at cost. You sell it for the 30 that it cost you, sort of thing. Like, but you know, in order to get people to take it and just wear the damn fucker.
You know what kind of a good way to maybe just test that or to gauge that would be make one for yourself, like make a hoodie or something with like the Comedy Kiosk Alicante logo or whatever, and then see if the people will be like, oh, where can we get those?
Yeah.
Because if people buy,
but have things figured out beforehand, how, if you want to mass make them, like, okay, where are we going to get them, blah blah. Like, okay, I bought the shirt, what's the deal? So I can kind of go, all right, if I can get an order of 10, then I'm going to sell them.
No, I mean,
and then
obviously, you're like wherever you print yours, you get like, okay, one hoodie costs, I don't know, 20 euros to make, right? That's with the shirt and the printing and everything. And then, you know, like someone comes to you and says, oh, that's sweet hoodie, like I will, even a comedian or whatever, where can I get that? And you're like, well, it's 20 euros and, you know, I can put in an order for you and that's it.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because I think on our kind of, you know, level of both finances and exposure, I don't think it makes, but I actually did see that in the article, they say that those kind of, you know, that level of comedians that do like the festivals and whatever, they make kind of 30,000-40,000 pounds a year just from merch, which is, I think, a good kind of side income. And it does cover a part of those expenses of like attending those festivals and running shows and whatever. So I think on the next topic, we can actually discuss the costs of comedy and how all these different, like, you know, sources of income can actually cover most of those costs or even turn a profit.
Yeah. And how to, you know, how to make money and the cost and the profits and all that. All right, let's cover that for some future topic then. All right, cool.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for listening. As always, if you enjoyed the episode, just follow us on whatever platform you are listening this on. Rate us if you like the podcast so more people can find us. And of course, share with any like-minded friends, colleagues, anyone you think that would enjoy what we do and what we talk about. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Igor Monday.
And I've been David Munoz. And don't forget to buy the t-shirt. Do we have a t-shirt?
Well, let's see. If anyone requests a t-shirt, we'll make a t-shirt.
Yes. Very good. Thank you very much for joining us.
We're actually both wearing our t-shirts now. Just so you know.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Just the fact you can't see us. David is definitely not sitting naked in his boxers. He's wearing the Comedy Kiosk t-shirt.
And boxers.
And boxers. So thank you.
Comedy Kiosk boskers.
Boskers. Comedy Kiosk boskers. All right. So thank you and goodbye.
Ciao.